Welcome to the first cinematic showcase of 2021. I hope you all enjoyed that sequence. If you're new here, hi, my name's Tim. I make these cinematic showcases of board games. I also make simplified board game tutorials. And on top of that, if you're interested in the way I film and photograph games, I teach all of this on my channel. So please subscribe if you aren't already so we can kickstart 2021 together. And now, let's talk about this incredibly massive and incredible game called Dwellings of Eldervale. Now, as a quick disclaimer, this is not a sponsored review. So let's get started. In its core, Dwellings is a worker placement game. You start off with 3 units, and eventually you can recruit a dragon, you can recruit a wizard, and you can recruit a warrior along with 3 more units. You're going to rally your army and designate each unit to a specific action, whether it's battling other players or battling monsters or gaining resources and advancing in elemental magic. Now, the goal in this game is to strategize where you're allocating your units in order to siphon the most amount of victory points from a ton of combo plays. And here is a timeline of what we're going to talk about today, right there. So first, let's talk about components. Now, everything is top-notch. Player trays, I've never been disappointed by a game trays insert. Everything is super easy to organize and put away. From the meeples to the gold coins to the wooden resources, everything just feels super premium. And I did get the legendary edition and I have absolutely 0 buyer's remorse. I'm extremely happy with everything from the legendary edition. The only issue I have is with the lid of the player boards. Now, one obviously is for each player to individually use, but the second function actually is it acts as a lid to your player tray, which is great and all, but because it's such a snug fit, the sides of your board will inevitably deteriorate from constant play. But other than that, I love all of the insane details in all of the monster minis. The Legendary Edition also comes with these sound effect spaces, which I was pretty indifferent about, to be honest at first, until we actually started playing with them. So my fiance and I actually had a very entertaining time with these sound effect spaces because each one has 2 different sounds to it. And they're pretty accurate to what the monster would actually sound like. So here is an example. So yeah, the sound quality isn't anything crazy, but knowing my gaming group, because we all think alike and we all play the same way essentially, we're very immature people. So I know that when we do get a chance to play together, they're gonna have a kick out of all these bases. Now, as FYI, you can turn these off just in case they are too loud, especially if you're playing late at night. So when you're comparing all of the editions of the game, I really do think that the Legendary Edition is worth it for all the monsters that you get. Monsters are such an integral part of gameplay, and one reason why I kept wanting to play again and again and again was because of the many different monsters and mini add-ons that you can circulate through, leading me to the biggest question of the day: how was gameplay? Fun. This is an extremely fun, addictive, exciting, heart-wrenching at times game. It is not an understatement to say that Dwellings of Eldervale made me remember why I loved board games so much. I film them, I take pictures of them all the time, I teach people how to play, and then obviously I love doing all of that. But sometimes you get lost in doing those things that you kind of forget why you started all this to begin with. And for me, it's because I love board games. Dwellings, no joke, reminded me of the passion that I have for board games. I love games like 10 times more than my fiance, and she was the one who wanted to play this game again and again and again. I'm currently on a 5 loss streak, but we're not here to talk about today. That's so irrelevant. We're here talking about why Dwellings is fun. Actually, I can talk about this game for ages and for hours on end, but I want to mention 5 of the biggest things why I think this game is so fun. Number 1, the mechanisms in this game are so thematically tied to the elements. For instance, when you visit the dungeon, you're going to gain some adventure cards. And some of these cards are called aura cards, which are in turn attached to other cards. Here's some really cool examples of what I mean. The fire aura is burning, so you cause your opponents to lose resources. The earth aura is called wild, so you gain resources as if you're nurturing it from the earth. And the water aura card is called underwater, so you use your opponent's force against them, so every time they gain resources, so do you. You see this? I love that so much. There have been countless hours of work put into those details in a board game to tie in theme that tightly, and I love how Dwellings makes you feel like you are a master of specific elements, or even just being able to dive into different elements and have that theme very, very tightly knit into how you're playing. Number 2, there are 16 unique player abilities, and although they are pretty simple, they are A, tied to their elemental characteristics. Like for instance, the fire factions are aggressive, so they are very pro-battle. But B, it also drastically affects gameplay. It feels so different playing with another faction because now you'll be more inclined to, for instance, go along with the Chaos track and use Chaos adventure cards and resources if you went with the Chaos faction. I think ultimately this is the biggest reason why I have so much fun playing this game over and over and over again. It's because every time you play the game, it feels like a very unique experience. Reason number 3, the gameplay is relatively simple once you get the hang of it. Now, Dwellings is one of those games where if you haven't played this game in a while, it's gonna be quick to pick up again. Because if you break it down, like this dude over here, you have 2 actions on your turn. You either put a worker somewhere, or you bring your workers back to you. But in those 2 actions, there are so many decisions that you can make. Should I go to the dungeon and get an Earth Elemental card? Oh wait, I need 2 tools first in order to buy that. Oh, should I use my warrior since there's a monster right next to the dungeon? Or maybe I should use my dragon and sacrifice it because then the monster will block their unit from making a dwelling, and then there. You see, the questions that the game incites are really, really fun. There's so many different paths that you can choose, and the fact that you start with 2 main branches, but in turn, those 2 branches split off into like 10 branches of their own, that makes it feel like you're really choosing your own adventure and your own fate in this game. Which is a great build up to number 4, and that is pacing. The pacing in Dwellings is extremely variable. You can end the game on your terms and rush to constantly visit the dungeon in order for you to just max out all those tiles. Or you can also prolong the game and just keep battling your opponent so they can't build any more dwellings, because 6 dwellings built triggers end game. Now sometimes you'll also have really fast games. Sometimes you'll have really long games with everyone scoring a ton of points from all these 6-point calculating conditions and a ton of combos just breaking off everywhere. The fact that there is no set speed for this game actually makes it fun, and I never would have thought that playing around with pacing in a board game makes it that much more fun and exciting and just really, really entertaining to revisit again and again. And lastly, number 5, this one is specific to one new mechanism, to me at least, and that is with dominating monsters. So some magic cards in this game allow you to take control of these crazy monsters in Eldervale and revive them, and they come back to life as your unit depending on which faction you play and which magic cards that you have, lots of other things. You're controlling this massive monster and using it to attack and mess around with other players. I don't think I have anything more to say other than that. It's just super cool. Now with all that said, my main issue with the game is probably the rulebook. I think it definitely needs a version 2 or like an updated version. As I was typing notes for what I would address for this video, all those concerns can be tied back to one thing, and that is the rulebook seems to address seasoned players or players that have experience already. So here I have a couple as an example. The rulebook mentions to place 1 orb on each of the 2 orb spaces of the glory track. If it's your very first time playing the game, it invites a lot of questions. Does that mean you put the orb over here or over here? Or does it matter if it goes over here? Those questions, they seem obvious now and they seem maybe kind of redundant if you're familiar with the game. But to people that are learning, it is a little bit confusing. Instead, it could be worded to like, place the orb on the glory track in spaces X and Y where the orb slot is located. Because on top of that, the orb symbol here is different than on the elemental track, but they still serve the same purpose. Second example, for advanced placement rules, it'll tell you that each advanced unit may be placed following the standard placement rules described above, or may use their special ability. Again, this is probably obvious to people that have played the game, but if you're new, if this is your first time seeing the game, then it makes you wonder, wait, so is this their special ability or is it the one on your player board? Can they use both the ability listed here and the one on your player board? Can they follow what's listed above and in this section and on your player board? So all that is probably my main issue and critique and kind of feedback about the game in general. However, it is really nice though that Luke Laurie has been extremely responsive and very, very fast to responding to questions that have been posted on Board Game Geek, the forums, especially when I was asking questions on making my tutorial on it as well. And lastly, quick thoughts on solo play. So I don't normally play solo games. I very, very rarely do, but I really wanted to try solo mode on this one and give you some of my thoughts on it. Solo mode is very, very difficult in Dwellings of Eldervale, from my experience. And that's not a bad thing because I haven't beaten it alone, but solo is really fun too because you have this ghost that doesn't really have one predetermined action. It actually has many and it rotates through a deck of cards. There are two things that I found most interesting about solo mode and I wanted to make you aware of. And that is you have this Watcher Meeple. And that's important because the Watcher decides how the ghost will interact with you every single turn. And the one rule that makes this game so enjoyable playing solo, and again, games don't typically make me want to play solo that often, but it's that the Ghost of Eldervale has no placement restriction. That makes it incredibly difficult, but so rewarding to just constantly challenge back and forth. But other than that, if you like worker placement games, if you like games that are tied heavily in theme, games that are simple but provide a ton of flexibility in decision making, games where you decide the pacing and where you feel like you're the one progressing and adventuring in like different elements and different realms, each time you play, you're going to love Dwellings of Eldervale. What a way to start 2021 for board games, because this one really set a very, very high bar for playing board games this year. My fiance and I have played it so many times already, way more than I normally would for our review, just because it was that enjoyable to replay. It's just a really fun, dynamic, unique game that has been different with every single play. Now, if you're interested in buying the game or if you've played it before, what do you think about it? Comment down below what is making you think about getting this game, or what you enjoy about this game, or what you don't enjoy about this game. I would love to know your thoughts down in the comments below. With that, I hope you all enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for watching and spending some time with me today, and I'll see you all in the next one. This is a massive game. It doesn't even fit in the frame of my office. Look at that, like just half the box just gets cut off. That's insane. I think I have like 1 or 2 videos left, but that shelf is going. That backlight is going. Gonna put some vertical lights up here. Whoosh, 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 whoosh. Give it a more modern, techie feel. See how it goes.